The Philistines are one of the most enigmatic groups in ancient history, often remembered as the arch-enemies of the Israelites in biblical texts. However, beyond their role as adversaries, the Philistines had a rich culture, distinct customs, and a complex history rooted in migration, warfare, and adaptation. They emerged on the Mediterranean coast during the tumultuous period known as the Late Bronze Age collapse, and their civilization flourished for several centuries. This article will explore their origins, settlement, society, conflicts, and eventual decline, shedding the light of people who have fascinated scholars and storytellers for millennia. The origins of the Philistines have been a topic of scholarly debate for centuries, with various theories proposing different homelands and lineages. The most widely accepted theory suggested that the Philistines were part of a larger group known as the Sea Peoples. This term, coined by modern scholars, refers to a coalition of maritime groups that swept across the eastern Mediterranean around the 12th century BC, contributing to the downfall of many established civilizations, including Hittite Empire and the Egyptian New Kingdom. Ancient Egyptian records, particularly the inscriptions left by Pharaoh Ramses III, provide valuable insight into the identity and movements of the Sea Peoples. Among these groups were the Palisat, who are generally identified with the Philistines. According to Ramses III, after a fierce battle, he captured the Palisat and resettled them in the coastal region of southwestern Canaan, a strategic area that later became known as Philistia. This resettlement likely took place around 1177 BC, following a failed Sea Peoples invasion of Egypt. The exact origins of the Palisat, and thus the Philistines, remain uncertain. Many scholars argue that they originated from the Aegean region, possibly from Crete, Cyprus, or the Mycenaean mainland. This theory is supported by archaeological evidence, including poetry styles and architectural features that resemble those found in Aegean settlements. However, alternative theories propose origins in Anatolia or even Italy. Regardless of their precise homeland, the Philistines brought with them a distinct culture that would soon leave a lasting impact on the Levantine coast. The arrival of the Philistines coincided with one of the most significant upheavals in ancient history, the Bronze Age collapse. Between 1200 and 1150 BC, nearly every major civilization in the eastern Mediterranean experienced a rapid decline. This collapse was characterized by the sudden destruction of cities, the loss of writing systems, and a general breakdown of trade networks. Historians attribute this period of turmoil to a combination of factors, including climate change, drought, famine, internal revolts, and invasions by the Sea Peoples. The Sea Peoples played a particularly destructive role in this collapse, ravaging coastal cities and undermining the stability of once powerful empires. The Hittites, who had dominated Anatolia and parts of Syria, were among the first to fall. Their capital, Hattusa, was abandoned and their territories were left vulnerable to invasion. In Egypt, the New Kingdom barely managed to repel the Sea Peoples in a series of costly battles, leaving the kingdom weakened and unable to maintain its influence over Canaan. As empires crumbled and trade networks disintegrated, the region experienced a dark age. This power vacuum allowed new groups, including the Philistines, to establish themselves in the eastern Mediterranean. The Philistines, who had likely been displaced from their original homeland by the same forces that caused the Bronze Age collapse, found an opportunity to crave out a new territory in Canaan. Here, they would begin a process of settlement and integration that would shape their identity for centuries to come. After being resettled by Ramses III, the Philistines established a confederation of 5 cities in the coastal plain of Canaan: Ashdod, Ashkelon, Ekron, Gath, and Gaza. This Pentapolis served as the center of Philistine civilization and facilitated their interactions with neighboring cultures, such as the Canaanites, Israelites, and Egyptians. Each city operated as a semi-independent city-state, collaborating on matters like trade and defense. The Philistines brought with them distinct material culture, including pottery styles, similar to those found in Mycenaean Greece. This pottery was known for its bichrome decorations, featuring red and black motifs on a white background. The Philistines also introduced new architectural practices, including large public buildings with open courtyards and circular hearths. Although their settlement patterns reflected their Aegean origins, the Philistines gradually integrated local building techniques and materials, creating a unique blend of Aegean and Canaanite styles. The Philistines' Aegean heritage is evident in their diet, burial practices, and religious customs. They consumed pork, a common choice in the Aegean but less so among Canaanites and Israelites. Their preference for pig bones found at Philistine sites indicates they maintained some Aegean culinary traditions while adapting to their new environment. In burial practices, the Philistines initially practiced cremation like the Aegean tradition, then gradually shifted to Canaanite inhumation customs as they integrated into Canaan society. This change reflects their assimilation into local practices. Religiously, the Philistines combined Aegean and Canaanite deities, adopting local gods like Dagon, Asherah, and Baal. This adaptation provided continuity in their new homeland and facilitated interactions with neighboring cultures through shared religious practices. Philistine society centered around the Pentapolis, where each city operated independently under a local ruler. These rulers convened to discuss matters affecting the confederation, such as foreign policy and military strategies, resembling the city-state model of the Aegean. Being a militarized society, the Philistines were known for their skilled warriors and advanced iron weaponry, giving them an advantage over neighbors still using bronze. Their technological superiority allowed them to dominate the coastal plain and pose a threat to the Israelite tribes in the hill country. In addition to their military strength, the Philistines excelled in craftsmanship and trade, producing textiles, pottery, and metal work. They traded goods like olive oil and wine, particularly from Ekron, a prominent center for olive oil production. Their strategic location along trade routes enabled them to control commerce between Egypt and the Levant, enhancing their wealth and influence. The Philistines are known for their conflicts with the Hebrew tribes, as detailed in the Bible, driven by disputes over resources, trade routes, and cultural and religious disparities. The Bible depicts the Philistines as persistent foes of the Israelites, engaging in battles and skirmishes. One famous encounter in the David and Goliath story, where the young shepherd David defeats the giant Philistine warrior Goliath in single combat. This tale has become a symbol of an underdog triumphing over a stronger opponent. In larger conflicts, the Philistines initially gained dominance, notably defeating the Israelites at the Battle of Gilboa during King Saul's reign. However, Saul's successor, King David, reversed the tide, capturing key cities and pushing the Philistines back to the coastal plain. The Philistines' technological superiority, particularly with iron chariots, made them formidable in the flat coastal region but less effective in the hill country, where Israelites used terrain to their advantage. This geographic factor played a crucial role in the outcomes of conflicts, enabling the Israelites to resist Philistine expansion and maintain control over the highlands. The Philistines' power declined in the 10th century BC due to pressure from internal and external forces. The emergence of the United Monarchy under King Saul and King David posed a threat, with the Israelites capturing cities like Gath and Ashdod, marking the beginning of the Philistines' decline. In the 9th and 8th centuries BC, the Philistines weakened further due to expansion of the Assyrian Empire, reducing them to vassal states and imposing heavy taxes and military contributions. The Neo-Babylonian Empire dealt a final blow to Philistine independence in the late 7th century BC, when King Nebuchadnezzar II conquered the region and destroyed Ashkelon, leading to the assimilation of many Philistines into the local population. Despite their decline, the Philistines left a lasting legacy in the region, with their influence seen in the material culture of the Levant and the renaming of the area as Palestine by the Romans. The Philistines had a significant impact beyond their military conflicts and political struggles. They played a key role in the cultural and economic development of the Eastern Mediterranean by facilitating trade, sharing ideas, and influencing artistic and technological advancements. Their unique pottery style, blending Aegean and Canaanite elements, left a lasting mark on local ceramic traditions in the Levant. Their focus on trade and agriculture boosted the economic prosperity of the coastal plain, making it a thriving region in the ancient Near East. While the Philistines as a distinct cultural group eventually faded, their legacy lives on in historical and religious accounts. While often depicted as enemies in biblical narratives, modern archaeological findings have depicted a more nuanced view, showcasing their adaptability, resilience, and contributions to the region's diverse cultural landscape. The Philistines were resilient people who significantly impacted the eastern Mediterranean. Originating as part of the Sea Peoples, they rose as a confederation of city-states and played a key role in biblical history, particularly through interactions with the Israelites. Although they ultimately faced assimilation, their legacy lives on in the name Palestine, and through archaeological remains. The Philistines' history offers valuable insights into ancient identity and cultural exchange, highlighting the resilience and cultural diversity that once thrived along the Mediterranean.